Have you ever stopped for a second, and wondered something strange? How can one single country have more than 1 billion people? Think about that for a moment. China alone has more people than Europe, more people than the entire Americas, and almost 1 out of every 5 humans on Earth is Chinese. But here is the real question. Why? Why did China end up with such a massive population, while other countries stayed much smaller? Is it because Chinese people simply have more babies? Is it because their land is bigger? Or is there something deeper, hidden in geography, history, and culture, that created this population giant? The truth is much more fascinating than you might expect. To understand it, we need to go back thousands of years. Back to the beginning of Chinese civilization. Imagine standing thousands of years ago, looking across a vast valley. In front of you flows a massive river. This river is called the Yellow River. And this river changed everything. Think of rivers like giant life machines. They bring water. They bring fertile soil. They allow crops to grow. And crops mean food. And food means people can survive. China was extremely lucky. Because it didn't just have one powerful river. It had two. The Yellow River in the north. And the Yangtze River in the south. Together, they created one of the most fertile agricultural regions on Earth. Imagine the land as a giant natural farm. Every year, floods from the rivers would spread rich soil across the land. Farmers didn't need complicated tools. They simply planted seeds, and the earth did the rest. This meant something very important. China could feed a lot of people. Much more than most ancient civilizations. But fertile land alone isn't enough. There is another piece of the puzzle. Rice. Rice changed everything in Asia. Think of rice like the ultimate survival crop. One small field of rice can produce far more food than wheat or corn. And rice grows extremely well in wet environments, exactly like the river valleys of China. This created a powerful chain reaction. More rice meant more food. More food meant more families could survive. More families meant more children. And more children meant a rapidly growing population. Over centuries, this cycle repeated again and again. Food created people. People created farms. Farms created more food. It was like a population engine, constantly running. But something even more interesting happened. Chinese farmers became incredibly efficient. They didn't just grow rice once a year. In many regions, they grew rice 2 times every year. Think about that. 2 harvests. Double the food. Double the survival rate. Now imagine millions of farms doing this at the same time. The result? Population growth exploded. But geography played another secret role. Look at China on a map. You'll notice something fascinating. Mountains. Huge mountain ranges. Massive deserts. The Himalayas. The Gobi Desert. The Tibetan Plateau. These natural barriers acted like giant walls. They protected China from constant invasions that destroyed other civilizations. Think about ancient Europe. Empires rose, and then collapsed. Wars destroyed cities. Population numbers dropped again and again. But China often remained stable for long periods. Stable civilizations allow something powerful to happen. Population growth. When families feel safe, they have children. When farms aren't destroyed by war, food production continues. This stability helped China grow bigger and bigger. But there is another factor most people never think about. Chinese culture. For thousands of years, Chinese society valued large families. In traditional Chinese culture, having many children was seen as a blessing. Children meant help on the farm. Children meant security when parents grew old. Children meant family honor and continuation. Imagine a farming family. More children meant more workers. More workers meant more food. More food meant the family could grow stronger. So naturally, families wanted many children. This cultural mindset lasted for thousands of years. Now here is something surprising. By the year 1800, China already had around 300 million people. At that time, the United States had only about 5 million. Europe was still growing slowly. But China had already become a population giant. And then, modern medicine arrived. Vaccines. Better hygiene. Better healthcare. Suddenly, fewer babies died. Life expectancy increased. People lived longer. And population growth accelerated even faster. But something interesting happened in the late 20th century. China's population started growing too fast. The government became worried. They feared that too many people would cause food shortages, poverty, and economic problems. So in 1979, China introduced something extremely controversial. The one-child policy. The rule was simple. Most families were allowed to have only one child. Imagine that. For a country where families traditionally had many children, this was a massive cultural shock. Some families accepted it. Others struggled with it. But the policy dramatically slowed population growth. Millions of births were prevented. China's leaders believed this policy helped the country avoid economic disaster. But policies like this also create new problems. Years later, China discovered something unexpected. Its population was aging. There were fewer young workers, and more elderly people. Imagine a country where fewer people are working, but more people need healthcare and retirement support. This creates economic pressure. So in recent years, China relaxed the rule. First allowing 2 children. Then 3. But something surprising happened. Many families no longer wanted big families. Urban life is expensive. Raising children costs a lot. Housing, education, healthcare. Young couples often prefer smaller families. So population growth slowed down naturally. But here is the fascinating twist. Even though China's population growth has slowed, its total population is still enormous. Because population size works like a snowball. Once it becomes huge, it stays huge for a long time. Even small growth adds millions of people. Imagine adding just 1% population growth to a country with over 1 billion people. That's more than 10 million new people in a single year. That's like adding the entire population of a small country, every year. So when we ask the question, why are Chinese people so numerous? The answer isn't one single reason. It's a combination of powerful forces. Fertile rivers. Rice agriculture. Efficient farming. Geographic protection. Cultural traditions. Long periods of stable civilization. And later, modern medicine. All of these forces work together for thousands of years. Like gears in a giant machine. Slowly, steadily, building the largest population in human history. And here is something even more mind-blowing. For most of human history, China was not just the most populous country. It was also the largest economy on Earth. For centuries, China's population size helped create massive markets, massive workforces, and powerful industries. Population, when managed well, can become a huge advantage. But the story isn't over yet. Today, China faces a new challenge. Its population is no longer growing like before. In fact, it has started to slowly decline. The world is watching closely. Because what happens to China's population could reshape the global economy in the next 50 years. So the next time you hear someone say, China has a lot of people, remember, that number is not random. It is the result of thousands of years of geography, farming, culture, and history, all working together. And here is something to think about. If history had been slightly different. If the Yellow River didn't exist. If rice never became China's main crop. If mountains didn't protect its civilization. The population of China today might look completely different. History often feels random. But when you zoom out, you start to see patterns. And China's population story is one of the most fascinating patterns in human history. If this video made you see the world a little differently, then you're going to love the next mystery we're going to explore. Because some of the biggest secrets of our planet are hiding in plain sight.